Hello, my name is Dr. Stephen Critchlow. I'm a consultant psychiatrist and have been a church pastor. I'm doing a series of talks on the topic of depression. And today I just want to talk just for a few minutes about how we can help somebody who's struggling with depression. How can we help them? What advice or help can we give? And there are some things that are fairly straightforward but very, very helpful. First of all, we want to show the person that we are there with them. Sometimes just a hand on the shoulder or a gentle touch can reassure them that we care for them, that we want to be with them as they go through a very stormy and difficult time. Secondly, we want to generally encourage them gently to talk about their problems. You see, if people can talk about things, it gives them the chance to offload. If we bury things inside, it makes it worse. If they can offload things and talk about their problems, this can be very helpful. And sometimes that will give us a clue of something we can do. For example, there might be some financial problem or some job situation or some other practical need we may be able to point them in the right direction on, and that can be extremely helpful. Also, people with depression, they're often not eating or sleeping very well. And so if we can encourage a normal diet and help them to sleep a little bit better, that can be extremely valuable. Exercise is very beneficial. It helps people not to get depressed. It prevents some forms of mental illness. It's helpful, and it also is a very good therapy. Sometimes doing it individually, but sometimes in groups. Exercise is very good. There have been comparative studies to show at times it can be as good as antidepressants, which is very interesting. Also, people with depression will often be wanting to withdraw. They'll be wanting to spend a lot of time by themselves, and that's not usually very helpful. Staring at four walls is about the worst thing you could do. And so trying to encourage them to become socially involved and involved in life can be something that is very helpful for them. Also, there's a tendency when one's struggling with some form of mental illness to try and do something about it. And taking drugs and alcohol as a way of coping with depression is a bad idea. We know, for example, that many people who die by suicide actually have taken alcohol before they did that. We need to be aware of the risks of suicide, obviously, and not to be worried about talking to somebody about it. It's much better to talk about it. How you do that's quite important, actually. We generally lead up to it quite slowly and say, look, you look a bit down, and how down are you, and is life worth living, and have you any thoughts of harming yourself? Have you any suicidal thoughts? Have you any plans? Leading up to a gentle and caring way can be useful, but we do need to be able to know whether somebody is suicidal or not. Also, of course, it's going to be very valuable to get the person to see a doctor. A doctor can work out, often if there's something that underlies the depression, if there's some other physical illness that's behind it, for example, how deep that depression is, and also what kind of treatment or therapy might be helpful. It's not usually helpful to say you shouldn't be depressed, and it's not usually helpful to say pull yourself together. If they could have done, they would have done by now. Those kind of statements aren't usually useful. One of the things that we're encouraged to do through the Holy Scriptures is always to love and care for each other. Jesus, of course, taught us, love your neighbour as yourself. And St. Paul takes that up in the book of the Galatians, chapter 6, and he says, bear one another's burdens and so fulfill the law of Christ. So bearing other people's burdens, understanding what they're going through, trying to be with them in their struggles is very, very helpful. And we need to be those people who are reaching out in love and kindness to those that we find around us. As I say, just a gentle touch sometimes, just showing them that we're with them, showing that we care about them. That kind of thing can be very, very helpful in people's lives. And so we need to pray and find God's help to be burden bearers for other people. So God bless you. Thank you.